what's always weird to me?
What?
How quickly and abruptly the Game Awards sneaks up on us every year.
You know, you're right.
Where do these people get the votes in? When can I vote? Can I vote?
Right? I feel like the audience can vote, but I've never had the chance to do it. I've never even seen an ad for it.
I've never seen it. The only time I see anything about the Game Awards is like a couple days before it happens.
Or the day it's happening. I just see people reacting to it.
Right.
I'm like, oh, it's the Game Awards.
I want to be able to vote because people are idiots and they don't know what they actually should be voting on.
Truly. That's why they don't advertise the votes. It's a conspiracy.
True. True. That is true. I just now saw that the Game Awards are happening tomorrow night.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
My goodness.
I guess I know what we're doing next week.
Perfect timing.
But I'm just realizing they keep tweeting out questions like, and what was your favorite moment from last year? Or what is going to run away this year? All these different questions that they always ask. And I'm just thinking I should have been given time to vote.
Right? Where are the questions prompting that?
Right. And are you going to have a shit? That's actually... I wanted to comment, they tweeted out, what was your favorite moment from last year? And I wanted to type when it ended because the audience from last year was terrible.
Fair, valid. You don't know how to act in audiences anymore.
True. Well, they're just there to, form clout.
They are indeed. To stare directly at the camera whenever they're on it.
It's like that 10-year-old kid who got caught on the baseball screen that one time.
Oh, yeah.
Where he just stares right into it.
Yeah.
And the caster's like, what the fuck is that kid doing?
Listen, it worked for the kid. He got on the screen. He
was a better audience member than anyone at the Game Awards.
True.
We should be at the Game Awards.
Man, I wish they would advertise it so we get tickets and go. I know what's happening.
Absolutely. I know. I never know. And it's terrible because I like the Game Awards. It's actually one of the reasonable things that feels slightly less like a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Everything's a popularity contest, but this one's slightly less.
Just slightly.
Yeah, just ever so slightly. Because sometimes I feel like certain things should win, but they don't.
Yeah.
Whether that be good or bad. Sometimes it's good. Anyways, Game Awards. Give us tickets to next year.
Yeah, we're influencers. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
That's right. We'll talk about it even more. Maybe we'll give you a two-parter.
Exactly.
One.
That's an honor.
We'll do a recap of the show and then our thoughts on going.
That's more than Squid Game got.
That is. Welcome everybody to episode, I don't know what episode 97 of You're Ridiculous. See, I knew it all along.
I see you don't have the episode plan open.
I do. I saw it on my tab. I have a lot of tabs open, so it was small.
Oh, you're one of those people. Tabs for days.
I'm not going to out him, but I had a professor in college who literally had at least 20 plus tabs open.
20 plus?
At least. And it was Google Chrome, so it's even worse than having 20 plus Firefox tabs open.
Right.
And probably at least 3 to 4 other programs.
Let's do bookmark them
on a laptop, no less. On a laptop.
Chuggaboard's life.
One of them was always Discord. And then another one was always Slack, and he'd at least have two other apps open plus the 20 Google Chrome tabs.
Those fans were at max constantly. Discord and Slack. He puts that laptop in his lap and he gets cancer.
Battery fighting for its life. trying to hang on. Constantly at 15% warning.
God, try not to explode.
He just opens up the note tab and the keyboard gets set on fire.
That's the final straw.
Oh, last week we talked about 5 Nights at... Oh.
You wrote this. Read it.
5 Nights at Yes, Piss, No, Freddy's the movie. Oh, sorry. No is in all caps.
Oh, yeah.
That's
essential.
That really threw me off. Prior Lucas setting current Lucas up for failure.
Truly, as he does.
This week, though, we're not talking about Piss or Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's right.
We're talking about Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Yeah.
Netflix's newest... Is it an anime? Does it count?
I'd call it an anime, but it's funny that it's not in the anime section on Netflix.
Right, that's why I'm asking. Because
They really pick and choose.
I know. It's also funny because this is a fucking based on Japanese lore.
I know. Even more reason to make it in the anime section.
All right, let's get right into it. Wolf, what is Blue-Eye Samurai?
Blue-Eye Samurai is an animated show about following our anti-hero Mizu. She's half Japanese, half white. She's got those blue eyes, and it's a curse.
It is.
Metaphorically. And everyone looks down on her for it. She finds her way and becomes an apprentice to a sword maker, and it goes from there. She has vowed to kill all 4 white men that were in Japan at the time of her birth, because any 4 of them could have been her father, and she has decided they deserve to die for creating her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is during the 16th century Edo period of Japan, where Japan had all the borders closed off to the outside world.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why Mizu is cast as a demon, because she's part white.
Yes.
And the white men are not allowed, except on the 4 occasions that they are.
They're not supposed to be there, but you know.
They're not supposed to be, but like every law that's ever existed, there are rules around it.
There sure are.
and if anybody's gonna bend those rules, it's the white man.
Yeah, that's right. The most unhinged, deranged white man.
We find a way. We persevere. Well, and I'd like to state this right away. I recommended the show.
You did indeed.
Unlike many,
out of nowhere.
Most of the time it's Wolfie saying, "Go watch the show. It's really good." This time it was me who had the brilliant idea.
You discovered it?
I did. I discovered it and recommended it the same day.
Oh, wow.
On a random tweet. I follow one of the voice actors, not of this show, but just a voice actor I follow, saying, like, don't sleep on Blue-Eye Samurai. It's one of the best of this year or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But he said, like, oh, okay, I'll check this out. And it was on Netflix, which is another boon. And so I'm like, oh, check this out. So watch the trailer. It slapped. Watch the first episode. It slapped. So I'm like, hey, Wolfie, go watch this. And
you
so
sent me the
did.
trailer. I watched like 30 seconds of it and then started skimming through it because of the attention span of a walnut. I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it a watch. He watched it. and then I watched the first episode. I was into it.
That's funny because I also skimmed through the trailer. I said I did watch it, but I was also just like hitting the arrow key, like moving by. Because like I'm going to figure out, I don't need to watch a whole trailer to know if I want to watch more of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a trailer really just needs to catch my eye, and if it does, I'll watch it.
A 2-minute trailer is kind of excessive.
That's right. Give me like there was one for one of the new kaiju movies. It was not King Kong. It was what's the other one? Godzilla -1 is the name of the movie. I don't ask me why it's named that. I'm not sure. But it was like a 40-second trailer of people just being in fear that Godzilla was about to destroy their city.
Classic.
And I'm like, wow, this looks awesome because it's 40 seconds and it's gripping.
Yeah, that's all they needed.
Right. It's got that gripper grissy.
Grissy.
The Godzilla's grissy.
Godzilla's grissy.
The Godzissy is gripping. and it was great because I didn't even realize I watched 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Make more things like that. Not to say that like trailers shouldn't be good because they should be.
Yeah.
But also like 2 minutes, like Wolf said, is excessive.
Especially since it was kind of just a clip show.
Right. And most people have decided within like 10 seconds of anything if they're interested in it.
Yeah.
Like whether it be dating or hooking up or whatever sort of romantic interest you have, or watching shows, reading books, like all this sort of thing. You know, you read a sentence or two of a book, you just basically decide whether you're into it or not.
Yeah. That's all you need.
Right. Anyways, the trailer was good, so go check it out.
And then check out the show.
And then check out the show, which we're diving into right now.
Yeah.
Before that, I want you to explain or give your thoughts on the animation style, because it's not 2D and it's not always 3D.
Yeah.
But it also has like weird elements of live action or mocap even. Like it looks real at certain times. And I just want to hear what you thought about it.
I'll tell you this. Dragon Prince walked and fumbled. So this show could run.
This show
My goodness.
sprinted.
I was looking at it. I started the episode. I was like, oh, this looks just like Dragon Prince. But they like mastered it. Dragon Prince had its like errors. They hadn't quite figured it out. They've got it figured out now. It is probably like 80% like 3D animation, but with like drawovers, kind of like how Arcane does it. Right. Except for like very specific scenes where it's definitely 2D. Like one that comes to mind is like when she was describing her creation and then birth. There's a special animation for that. That's definitely 2D. Where she like inflates and then explodes. But yeah, it's very good. I like it.
I was gonna say because I've never really, besides Dragon Prince, I've never seen anything like this before. Arcane is at times certain similar, like that drawn over style. Yeah. But that one feels more 2D than 3D.
Yeah, more stylized.
Yeah, definitely. This one toes the line quite a bit. Yeah. And like flip flops back and forth and makes pretty much every scene really interesting to watch because you never know how they're gonna make it look.
Yeah, very artistic. Always good on the eyes. Mm-hmm. It's like
and go. I was gonna say I feel like it helped the fighting scenes a lot.
Oh yeah, hugely. They're very choreographed fighting scenes instead of just like implied fighting.
Right. Yeah, a lot of the times you have like quick swipes or like a still image of someone's face up close or like in a sword posture, and then you have like overlaid on top of that you have like sword swings and stuff.
Yeah, the shoo shoo shoo.
Right. And then you have all the noise that accompanies it. But this was like you said, very choreographed and like quite realistic looking.
Yeah, they're like she'd like hit someone and they'd fall and the camera would follow them and fall with them and do like a weird, really cool transition, rolls, everything. Loved it.
Oh yeah, it was very good, very easy to follow as well, which I feel like is, especially for hand-to-hand combat fight scenes, those are always the worst to like pay attention to. Yeah, because they can just be so absurd, but this does it in a really clean way.
It does indeed. This show. I was thinking. I had like three different thoughts.
Okay.
I probably won't do this episode by episode, but I will talk about I guess maybe the before I talk about my favorite episode, the theme of control. Yeah. It starts with Princess Akemi and how she wants to control her life and what that means for her as a woman in the Edo period of Japan. In which she can only find control through controlling others that are higher in power, controlling other men. Yeah. And that wraps up neatly by the end, in which she has true control over her life via the actions of Seki, by both freeing her from being the what's the word? I forgot the word. The shogun's son's wife, and by also giving her the money to do so. And even as they're like escaping, he is continually looking to her to like make the decisions, like, hey, are we running away? Are we gonna stop this? And she's like, I wanna help. And so he helps her help at the cost of his life.
Yeah, she really, the whole show actually, not just Akemi, is about control and like the women's place in this sort of time period. Yeah, and what it means. Especially, we get it. It might have been the first one, but at least by the second, we get a scene where Mizu is going into a city that's where women can't travel without a man.
Yeah, and her husband died.
You need a travel pass, right? And so there's a family, or not a family, but a mother and a daughter that get left out in the cold because the husband has already died and they can't use the husband's travel pass.
Yeah, me dragging his dead body to use the travel pass. Pump it in my Nights at Bernie style.
Right. And that whole sort of power that men have in this time period and just in general is really well done. It's not like really ever thrown in your face, I don't think. It doesn't feel like it's a feminist move, like talking point, you know? Yeah. And I'm not saying that to be offensive to that sort of thing, but I'm just saying it's well done in the way that you notice it and respect it almost.
Yeah. They're like it's what's her face, Akini. There's like they give a lot of metaphors to Akini. Like they have one, they keep comparing her to a pig, but the gist of it is what they're trying to say is like you have to find control where you can find it, not where it's not at.
Right. Seki said at one point, you have to live in the world as it is and not as you would have it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what she starts to realize, especially towards the end, like you said, where she really sort of grabs the reins and is in control.
Yeah.
Also, talk about a fucking redemption character on Seki.
I know.
My man did a whole 180.
He sure did. I'm like, wow. He went full manipulation, masturbating this entire like series of events to try and convince her, like, oh, you're not ready for the world.
Yeah, and she wasn't. To be fair, he was right the whole time.
But
he just did it right. It's principle, and he did it in the wrong way. Obviously, he was on her side the entire time, but it was the way he went about doing things.
Yeah.
But eventually, that my man not only turned on his lord, the father.
Yeah.
And, it was so good. I was so happy that we had that redemption. Because you're like, wow, shout out to Seki. And I'm like, no, you're going to get to it. Fuck Seki. And then, he turned it around.
But then again, Nanny of the Year. Once again.
That's right. Picked up the ball, dropped it, picked it up again.
Chased it. Picked it back up.
Chased it, picked it up again.
Oh, yeah. And then one more, I guess, major character who's like also fits into the theme of control ended up being Fowler. He talked about it a bit more explicitly than with everyone else, but it's like he is as not in control of his life as much as Akemi is. He's locked in this fucking castle in the middle of nowhere where no one can access it except for like the prostitutes and his boy toy.
Yeah.
And he's been trapped there for 20 fucking years.
20 years.
But it's almost like a different dynamic because he had control before he ended up in Japan, and then he lost it.
Right.
And eventually it made him worse, really. Which is the secondary thing about there were no demons. The only demons were humankind.
That's true.
The trailer makes it seem really like mystical, magical. Nah, there's no magic.
It turns out, just like Scooby-Doo taught us all along, that the worst monsters in the world are humans.
Yep, and the British really know how to make the worst of them.
Shout out to them. Continually being pieces of shit throughout history.
Truly. I'm like, he walked into the fucking castle, Mizu does, and it's just lined with the bodies of children and their mothers. I'm like, oh wow. And then he's like, also, I eat human flesh. I'm like, oh wow. You keep getting worse. And then he's talking to the church, in which I thought he was talking to the spider. And he was like, by the way, I'm going to commit mass genocide. Yeah, shout out to you, Jesus.
Classic white people committing genocide.
I'm like, you just keep going.
Just can't get away from it. It's just ingrained within us.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Fowler really had that sort of show of I'm in control, or I have the power, but it's all like useless power.
Yeah.
Like he actually can't do dick.
Not at all.
In fact, the only time he really gets to go out once a year was to go pay tribute to the people that allows him to be in Japan.
Yeah, and he can't even see the Shogun himself like everyone else.
Yeah, he got confined just to the sons and some minor lords before the sons. Doesn't even get invited to the soiree.
The nerve.
Before we dive into favorite episode, because I am interested to hear about that and if which ones we choose. Did you have favorite characters that you were rooting for? Or did you like everybody?
I kind of just liked everyone. I was fascinated by Taigen. Man.
Yeah, well, the main characters, if you haven't watched the show, what are you doing?
Trying, right?
Are Mizu, main protagonist. Akemi, sort of a secondary character. Taigen, Abaji Fowler, Seki, Heiji Shindo, and Ringo are basically the ones you really have to care about. There's the Sword Father as well, but he's sort of mostly in like...
He's like a main supporting.
Yeah. And I guess a good time. The cast is fantastic, by the way.
Ooh, oh yeah, I heard Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior, is in there.
Yeah, Brenda Song herself. A lot of these are very distinguishable. Like I was telling Wolf the whole time, I'm like, wow, I recognize this voice and this voice. Brenda Song is a Kemi. Maya Erskine, who I know the name of, but I don't recognize when I look at her. She plays Mizu. Darren Barnett is Taigen. He looks like every, like white guy I've ever seen before. Kenneth Branagh, he actually, you won't know this name, but he is the voice, or not the voice, but he's the actor of Hercule Poirot.
I don't know that.
Have you heard of the movie Murder on the Orient Express?
No.
Okay. Well, there's another movie, but you haven't heard of that one either.
What are you saying? What if I do? What do I do?
Murder on the Nile?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. They're very famous, like, detective novels, and they were made into movies within a few years ago.
I see.
And they were really good. Randall Park, who is Heiji Shindo, he's that guy from all the Marvel movies. He's the cop.
Oh, look at him moving up in the world.
He's. I think most people recognize his face rather than his name, which is kind of funny. Masai Oka is in this, who I always remember from Get Smart.
I don't know that.
He's one of the guys. I just sent a picture of him.
Oh, I don't know that face.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, he was in Hawaii Five-0 as well.
Oh, your heist movies.
Okay, that's a cop show, but sure. I think he's most famously from Heroes, which is a superhero show, but it wasn't very good. Anyways, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's like a long-time supporting actor.
Nice.
And then lastly, sort of, George Takei, my favorite.
Yeah. The guy.
He's great.
Who was he?
Was Seki.
Oh, yeah.
He was also the Shogun. It doesn't actually list him as but he was also voicing the Shogun.
Nice.
But the Shogun has like 10 fucking lines.
Yeah.
Who cares? But yeah, I could tell he was also the voice of Shogun. And then there's a couple other people, but who cares?
Irrelevant.
Yeah, irrelevant. I actually thought Ringo was voiced by Pro ZD because it sounded like his Ratatosker from God of War. And I'm I looked up the credits of this show, or I looked up Pro ZD's credits actually, because I didn't want to spoil it if I was wrong.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a second, is this Pro ZD? Is he playing Ringo? Because it sounds just like his Ratatasker character. I was wrong.
An imposter.
That's right. But the rest of them were really good. Great cast. Anyways, I think my favorite actually was Abijah Fowler.
Yeah, he's solid.
Because he is just a psycho.
He's a force to be reckoned with.
He is so fun to watch on screen. It was like, I'm not rooting for him, obviously, but like he was just a unit on the screen.
I love that his default way to kill people is to beat them to death with his fists.
Speaking of that, I like when he like infiltrates the Shogun or the Shogunate, and he goes to the private room and he's like, wait, didn't I kill you already? Yeah. Like looking at Taigen. He's like, oh, you're stubborn.
Oh, man.
Anyways, did you want to talk about your favorite episode?
Oh, yeah. My favorite episode, which I think might also be your favorite episode, episode 5.
God, this episode. I'll let you go first.
It's episode 5. It's like it's doing a couple things. It's kind of like a flashback, what's the word? Things happening at the same time. It's sort of flashing back to when Mizu loosely retired and became a bride. But it's also flashing forward to the Apini. She's now getting married to the Shogun, and also showing kind of what's happening as she's fighting an entire army.
Yeah, it's current events, future events, and past events all being shown at once.
Yeah.
While also a story that is interconnected between all 3 of the events at the same time, that's being overlaid on top of all those.
Which is amazing that they pulled that off.
It was absurd how well that was done.
Truly.
I just, the tale of the Onryo, which is a vengeful demon in Japanese foci. It's one of the yokai.
Yeah.
And it was basically how each of the stories become some sort of emblematic visage of an Onryo.
Yeah.
Especially Mizu. Like, oh my god.
God, I was watching it, and I'm watching like Mizu be happy and happily become a wife to this like farmer guy, and I'm like, my god, how does this get fucked up?
Oh yeah, it's not lasting like that because this is way in the past. Not way in the past, but in the past enough.
Yeah. And go.
No, you go.
And the way it ultimately gets fucked, I actually had to think about it I was like, did he betray her? But I'm like, no, if Fowler is to be as trusted in what he's saying as much as as Mizu believes him, then that lady really wasn't her mother. Which means it really was her that turned her in.
I was so floored when he said that.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no fucking way. I don't get caught off guard easily about this sort of thing, but I'm like, no shot.
I believe it. I was like, when she was like, oh yeah, Matt, I actually lived. I was like, well, no, she's the imposter. But then, was an imposter the whole time.
Yeah, and then like you see, I don't remember his name, but you see the husband on the hill as the sort of warriors are coming, and he like runs away, and then comes back.
Yeah, and
then like Mizu can't really trust him anymore because she doesn't know like who's real and who's what, and then she's like, "Fuck this, you dead."
I will say he did leave her the spear. That's
right, and we finally got to see why Mizu is wearing those plates on their forearms and calves.
Oh yeah, not just to show off.
Well, I'm like, this whole time, like every now and then we see her take them off, like to bathe or to, get more speed in battle or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck are these? Are these just like weights to train and like
sort of
strong or something?
Yeah, traditionally they're kind of like fuck you card. Like, I was holding back.
Yeah. I'm like, I was weighing myself down, making myself stronger this whole time. And like, that makes sense. But then we find out that it's also an enhancement for her sword to make it, I forget what they call it, but it's basically a Japanese halberd.
Yeah.
There's an actual word for it, but that's what it is.
Lost.
Right. I don't remember what it was. But
spear.
It's a Japanese spear, Japanese halberd. And the fucking, I don't even know, just dance moves that she was doing on the battlefield when she equips all those together. She's fucking playing Dance Dance Revolution, getting perfects every time.
Truly, I'm like, God, she's not missing anymore.
She destroyed an entire army, utterly. And I like that after that whole scene, Ringo's just like, fuck you.
I know, right? Like, oh, you're not an honor. She just saved this entire town by removing this dictator force, and you want to talk shit?
And like, when you think about it, Mizu really is just doing it for Akemi's protection.
Yeah.
Like, Mizu is already having a hard time protecting herself. Now she also has to worry about Ringo.
Yeah.
To some degree. And adding someone who can fight less than Ringo.
Yeah, and doesn't quite have the experience to be like, I shouldn't take this fight.
Right, exactly. And has a fucking butter knife as a weapon. And then it really showed the expectation of fans and like how meeting your heroes can really play out when you look at how Ringo felt.
Yeah.
And that the scene where he's like, you're not an honorable samurai and all that stuff. And Mizu's like, bitch, I never said I was.
Right. I just used a sword.
Right. And Ringo is like sort of devastated looking at his hero is like, you're not what I thought it was. And I'm like, wow, this is relatable for so many people. Like, you hold people yet you respect to such a high degree and you want them to turn out a certain way. And when you meet them or see what they're truly like, you can definitely feel betrayed in a way.
Yeah, it's even better in that.
Just the fault of a fan.
Yeah, and that Mizu didn't even really do anything wrong for them to fall off the pedestal.
Right. It was just Ringo's own expectations and thoughts about what Mizu should hold herself to.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a samurai. A samurai wouldn't let an innocent woman be captured. I'm like, well, that's not really what's going on, and I'm not a samurai.
But surely that is the honorable thing. She's the princess.
Right.
They're just taking her back home.
The fuck does Ringo know? He just wants his peaches to stay around.
Peaches.
Also, did you see at the end of Mizu's flashback where the storm is coming, there's a demon in the cloud?
Oh, I did not see that.
The lightning flashes in the clouds when it's raining, and a demon face appears.
That's cool.
That's after Mizu killed the husband and starts walking away.
Yep.
It was so cool. Yeah, it was great.
No.
This episode alone is top 5 episodes I've ever watched from any show ever.
Wow.
This was so good. I could watch this like 2 more times and still see new things.
Yeah, I bet.
It was so good. Just the balancing act that they did between the 3 arcs and then the overarching folklore story that they're telling through all of it and how it bounces between each one.
Yeah.
Seamlessly is just so good.
Man.
It was 12 out of 10.
Wow. Man, that farmer dude had it all. And he threw it all away because he couldn't handle a little knife play.
Right? Just got embarrassed.
God. Jumped straight to calling her a monster. Like, damn, man.
Got demoralized just because he lost a fight. He's old, first of all.
Right? Retired.
That's right. Man already had his honor stripped away once. Can't stand losing to a woman. Although that tracks for this time period. So.
True.
My wife beat me in a fight. Better get her arrested. Oh, man. Did you talking about the last episode? Because that was also very good.
Yeah.
This was The Great Fire of 1657 is the title. Did you know that's a real fire that happened in Japan?
I assumed it was.
Yeah, I did not know, but I looked it up after. Right, yeah. I didn't know. It wasn't called that. It's called a Furisode fire. I'm saying that wrong, of course. But it was a real fire, which is really cool.
Oh, wow.
The whole writers were really accurate, as far as I know, to Japanese folklore in general.
Oh yeah,
and
I bet.
Just culture and display of everything. It was really like how Akemi has to blacken her teeth to become a bride.
Yeah.
All that sort of thing is like, I'm sure a lot of people just accept it like, oh yeah, that's a thing that they're doing. But it's like actually accurate to that sort of time period in Japan, which is even cooler. And I didn't realize while watching this that this was a real fire. Looking it up afterwards, though, it was one that actually took place. And that's even cooler. Although the reason isn't the same, obviously.
Surely. Well, we don't know that.
Wow, sure.
It's funny during that during that fight, Fowler, he's like fighting. He's like normal level of confidence. He's like, I'm going to kill you. We're going to end this right here. And then he's fighting Mizu. He's like, this bitch is crazy. He just starts trying to run away.
He's scared. He's like, this is an actual demon.
Yeah, he's sprinting and Mizu's just calmly walking through the fire like, it's time.
It's like how like serial killers in movies always chase down their prey. The prey's always running, hauling their ass, and the predator's just like slowly walking towards them with a weapon.
Oh yeah, Mizu's a straight horror movie monster. Same thing with that when she killed that entire army. Same vibes.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Unleashing the beast. Did you notice that when Fowler's running away, he turns around at one moment and is like pretty scared of Mizu, and the flames start like rising even further behind Mizu. But in the background on the left, you can see a flag, and it starts burning, and the flag has a phoenix on it.
Oh, I did not see that.
Which is the same thing that happened in episode 5.
Yeah.
Of the warrior wanting to take down the Phoenix clan.
Yeah.
That was so good. I'm sure I caught a few of these like hints to, stuff like that. I'm sure there's more of them that I missed, but
shout out to the writers.
I know, right? I also really appreciated how Fowler basically sort of told Mizu that he won, even if you kill me here. He's like, look at what you've done. I wanted to get rid of the shogun and take down his whole empire, and you did that for me on your path of revenge.
One stray fire took down all of the shogunate.
The whole city burned down. Oh man, that was really cool.
It was. I can't wait to see what nonsense Mizu gets up to in London.
Oh, London is no strangers to citywide fires.
Oh, true. So, she's gonna have to go bigger.
That's right.
What big historical things happened in London after 1657? Like, what's the next big thing? Worldwide.
I'm not sure. Surely, well, I guess that's a little too... It would have been cool if it was around the time of Jack the Ripper, because then that could have been Mizu.
Oh, yeah.
But that is too early currently.
That's so funny.
I guess it would be, like, the Americas, right? Around this time?
What if they just end up in America?
Well, slightly before, because 1776
I see.
Around the Americas time, like, and slightly before. They're about 100 years old. So, yeah, somewhere in there. I'm not super familiar with, like, British history because, ew. But
yeah.
Other than that, they were doing a lot of stuff in India at this time.
Ah, okay. She's gonna meet Gandhi.
She's gonna kill Gandhi. He's one of the white man. Yeah. Do you agree with Mizu's decision to not kill Fowler?
Sorta. It's like, it would have been satisfying, but if if the last two people she needs to kill really aren't in Japan anymore, smart move, then yeah, she at least needs him for the boat ride there. Yeah, well, it makes perfect sense that they're not there because the only person that we've heard about was Fowler this whole time. Yeah, and Violet. Well, we know the names, but like, oh yeah, Violet's already dead though. Yeah, we didn't get to see Violet die. It was that pathetic. Yeah. So it makes sense that they're no longer in Japan. Yeah. But they were at the time of Mizu's birth. Yeah. Yeah, the wherewithal to leave, because it seemed like staying wasn't very fun. Yeah. Also, I like how we never really, Taigen doesn't really get a closing anything. Oh, yeah. He's alive, but nothing really, we know Ringo goes to work for the Sword Father. Yeah. Become an apprentice. Seki's dead, and Akemi sort of grabs the reins and is gonna, rebuild the city. Yeah. And then Taigen lost his wife. I bet he stowed away on that boat. Oh, you think so? That could be good. He's obsessed with Mizu, my goodness. True. He did get a hard-on for her. He did indeed. Although he doesn't know that she's a girl. Not yet. He's fighting for his life with his gay thoughts. Listen, at this time, the Japanese were fine with it. They were indeed. They were they were less like the Greeks, but still, the Greeks were all horny for anybody. They're just they're fine with it. What did that brothel say? Any peculiarities? Yeah, any peculiarities go here. So some prefer the pistol over the stamina. That's what she said. That's good. It was like a twist. Thought? A twist I saw kind of saw it coming, but wasn't sure how it was gonna come through. The Shogun's second son. They're hyping him up. I was like, oh, he's this brute that beats his wife, and I'm like, and then it turns out it's his mother. Yeah, bullying all his wives into suicide. Classic stepmother attitude. Damn. And this guy's basically a mute because he doesn't want to be embarrassed about his stammer. Yeah. He's the most passive. Yeah, what Akemi does to fix that, she plows him. Oh yeah, hits that position 5 probably. Shout out to positions 12 and 20. Shout out to our father when it was time for the sex. Just brings out porn. Just postcards he's just been keeping. The postcards of porn. Here you go. This show was a pretty serious drama and storytelling of a revenge path, but it was really comical at certain points. It was. Which was Did you hear the Wilhelm scream while she was a couple times going through the castle? Yeah. It's so good. I love that scream. That's the most classic thing ever. Oh man. I like in that castle scene, by the way, where she fights all those samurai in between the doors in the pit. Yeah.
And then that final one just like, go get my fucking sword.
He's like, oh, I'm not having this. She beat a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
She beat what? I don't remember what she beat someone with a leg.
Yeah, she like cut the leg off, grabbed it. That was her weapon.
Yeah. God, that was so good.
That's amazing.
I also do appreciate throughout this that we've like it's confirmed that Mizu's like not invincible by any means.
Oh no,
which
she's
is
good.
Right. I feel like that's a big problem that a lot of anime have, where their main characters like, yeah, I'm just perfect and nobody can beat me.
Yeah.
But Mizu is just a person.
Yeah,
They're
she's
good.
slow. She's getting through the levels, but she's getting beaten down a little more each time.
Right. Like she got her ass beat the first time she met Fowler.
Yeah. Those monkeys wore her down.
That was a really cool scene.
It's kind of funny that the drug, the flower drug, honestly was probably the reason why she got through those next 3 levels.
True. All hopped up on the juice.
Yeah. She's fighting demons. There they were.
Any final thoughts?
Great show. Beautifully animated. And you know what? I am all for the artistic nudity throughout all of it. It doesn't linger on it. It doesn't make a big deal of it. It's just there, as it should be in art.
It was tasteful nudity.
It was.
It never really... In fact, not only was it not for, like, nudity's sake, but it also was, at times, comic relief, like Peaches.
Yeah, Peaches.
And it was, like, pretty well done. I thought it had its place, and it had its moments, and it wasn't too drawn out.
Yeah.
It was good. I was fine with it.
Shout out to the writers and the artists. They did it right. Show of the year. Yeah. Your final thoughts?
I thought it was amazing. One of probably my favorite thing that I've seen all year.
Nice.
If it definitely cracks my top 10 shows ever.
Nice.
I don't know if it cracks top 5. I'd really have to sit down and think about it, but I'm having a hard time figuring out, other than like a handful, what is better than it, you know? So
yeah,
it's definitely top 10, possibly top 5. I love this. Very excited for season 2, which we're obviously going to get.
Surely.
I'm sure that it's already had it written because they have plans. They've already told a bunch of plans about it.
Oh wow, have they?
So in the story, I mean.
Oh, I see.
Like they have a lot of setup at the final episode for like continuing story arcs. So I'm sure that they have a lot of stuff planned out already. I don't think this only came out November 3rd.
Oh yeah, it's very new.
Right. So it's brand new. We're not going to get a confirmation at least for another month, but for all the reviews that I've seen and read, that everybody loved this show. So
yeah, honestly, this is probably something being held by the writer's strike.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah. Shout out to that, by the way. That finally has a tentative ending.
Yeah, about time.
And a positive one at that.
Yeah.
Which was great. Good to hear. Good on those guys. If you have not seen this show, it's on Netflix. Blue Eye Samurai. It is fantastic. Wolf, what is your final rating?
10 out of 10.
I'm 12 out of 10. The show was fantastic.
Blew through the roof.
So good. So good. Moving on to also the what is it? I don't actually know what it's called. The like when you type in Blue Eye Samurai, the thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Like the thumbnail. Very cool.
It is nice.
Very aesthetically pleasing.
Looking out over snowy Edo, Japan.
That's right. Wolf, we have a question of the week.
We sure do.
From Rain, what is it?
It is, you have a superpower, but you can't be a superhero. How do you incorporate your inhuman ability into your mundane, everyday life?
That's right. So we have previously answered, what kind of superpower would you want? We've also been given random superpowers before. One of mine definitely was, I think one of the coolest things would be the ability to be like Avatar and control the elements.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be like, in terms of this, would be like a little apiece. I'll just pick one because I think it's really funny. Being like the power to manipulate Earth, like an earthbender.
Yep.
I would turn it into being a professional sandcastle builder.
Ah!
And I would just go to beaches and make like the most ridiculous sandcastles you've ever seen.
Oh, love that.
Like a whole like tower that you could walk in.
You'd be a legend.
I would be an icon and make like cool sand castles and houses and sculptures and like crazy ass shit that nobody else can do.
You bring about a new era of architecture.
The sand building. It all cycles back to Egypt.
Oh, you're right.
Well, that's what I would do. Or the other one I thought of, if I was like a firebender instead.
Yeah.
Specifically for the lightning bending, I would just like capture lightning in a jar and then just like sell it as a nightlight.
Amazing.
Just like, yeah, this is a lightning bolt in a jar. Don't open it, you'll die.
You're a snake oil salesman, but it's legit.
It's actually just lightning in a bottle, literally. But it's
You've done
only
the
for
impossible.
night lights. And like, this is how I kill the lava lamp industry.
As if it's not already dead.
I'll go back. I'll time travel back to the 80s. Kill
The changes you'll make.
What would yours be?
I believe in the past I've said I'd want like the ability to stop time. Therefore, I'd use that ability to help like people cheat in like chess tournaments or trading card tournaments. Tell people the hands, freeze time, take a look around, move things around, give that information to whoever I'm working for, and I'd make a profit. And they'd never know I was there.
Making a buttload of profit.
Truly.
We could take down Carl Magnuson.
Was he the guy who put the vibrator in him to cheat?
No.
Oh, okay.
That guy is the guy that played against him. Magnuson has been the world chess champion for like 10 years or some shit.
That's amazing.
He's like the best player ever.
He must have a time stopper.
True, or a even more concealed dildo or butt plug.
It's so funny. What even possesses someone to get that idea? Morse code through my ass so that I can cheat at chess.
It's worse that he got caught doing it.
It is.
Like, oh, it's the worst. I can't believe him. The shame. Just perish. Commit seppuku.
Right. That's all he will ever be known for, and I don't even know his name. After all
I don't
that.
either. That's what he's known for. That's his legacy. It's the guy who cheated with a fucking fight. Oh man, that's so good. I can't. You'd be like at that tournament, like pausing time, and just hear like a slow vibrating.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, this guy's got it in his ass. Check his ass.
Caught red-handed. Spread him. Now everyone's got to get searched at the chess tournaments.
Everybody's got to go through TSA before they go play a game. Oh man, what would Raine's mundane power be?
Let's see. She probably like talks to animals.
I was literally thinking something about talking to a cat because she owns many.
Perfect. She uses it to run her very successful like pet watching business. Or she works at the zoo and she can like really tell them how to do tricks.
Oh, she's Zoolander.
Yeah.
Or she? Are you familiar with that Eddie Murphy movie, Dr.
Doolittle?
That's her. She's the white Dr. Doolittle. She's progressive Dr. Doolittle.
No, Dr. Rain Little.
Dr. Rain Little.
Doctor Do Too Much.
Not only is she white now, but she's also a woman.
Same way.
So that I'm not gonna continue that because I don't want to delve too far into that joke. But that's progressive as it ever could be.
Truly.
It is 2023 after all. Everything that a man once did is now being replaced by a female.
I had something to add, but I think I'll keep it to myself.
Tell me after. Well, luckily, I don't think I have to bleep anything in this one.
Oh, lucky you.
We'll find out in post. Wolf, take it away before we embarrass ourselves too much.
I'm Wolf taking things away. Thank you for watching episode 97 of You're Ridiculous.
Woo!
If you liked all that, you hit the like, comment, and subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified of the next episode. If you're watching on a podcast website, be sure to hit the plus and give us 5 stars to support this show. You can follow us across the internet, the main cast at ridiculous_cast on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow Lucas at 7AngryWasp with an E, and you can follow me at Rainbow Does without the W. We hope to see you guys all again next week, but until then, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.